My second guest in this series is someone that is going to inspire you today in some way, form, or fashion. I have a question for you. Have you ever said, it's too late, I can't do it, that ship has sailed, my dream is over, life has happened, and you haven't accomplished that dream that's stirring inside of you of something you want to accomplish, complete? Well, maybe you're in your 20s and you're saying, it's too late, I'm too old, I can't do it, which I know sounds crazy, but when I was in my 20s, I said those things. Maybe you're in your 30s and you're saying, you know what, I should have done it. It's too late. I have a family now. I have a different career now. I have to pay my bills. I can't go after my dream. Maybe you're in your 40s and you're saying, I wish I would have gone after my purpose. I wish I would have gone after that dream. I wish I wouldn't have been afraid to try. Maybe you're in your 50s and you're saying, it's over. I'm already middle age, I'm on the other half of my life, I'm not gonna go after my dream because it's too late. Maybe you're in your 60s, and if you are, you're at the perfect, ripe, young age to go after your dream. So let me introduce Debbie King to you.
Thank you.
Debbie, tell us, how old were you the first time you picked up a paintbrush?
Well, I would have been 60 years old. I had just retired from teaching music in the Greater Latrobe School District. And we live in this big house with lots of high ceilings, and I wanted to decorate the house with artwork. So I started shopping for artwork, and I looked at some of those things and I thought, that's ugly. I could do something better than that. So I wanted to start a new hobby. And one thing led to another, and I began watercolor painting. I thought, oh, that'll be easy, which it turns out it's one of the hardest mediums.
Oh.
So I started watercolor painting and taking classes and workshops, watching YouTube, reading books, and it has taken on a life of its own at this point.
So you were how old when you started?
I was 60 years old.
60 years old. So I want to encourage you, if you are 60 or younger, that it is not too late. And for those of you in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, we'll have another guest for that. So Debbie, what they don't know and what you didn't mention is your artwork is amazing. To never have done, as you said, I didn't know it also is one of the hardest mediums to do is a watercolor. I would have never known that you just started in your 60s in this decade that you're in. Now, my husband is a former painter due to health injuries and an accident he had. He can't do that anymore. But I know that he is picky. And I know that he has who is my cameraman, a critical artistic eye that can scrutinize like the best of them. And yet, when we went to your art show the other day, my husband was grinning like a cat that stole the canary at the work you had done and telling me the detail and the beauty. So we will show some B-roll of Debbie's art. But what I want you to remember is she did not start it till her 60s. Mm-hmm. So encourage the person right now. Your reason for doing the art was because you couldn't find what you wanted for your walls. And by the way, her house is gorgeous. Talk to that person right now that maybe they're not finding their purpose, they're not finding their calling because they don't know what they should do, or they were too afraid to go after it, or they didn't know. What would you say to the person right now to breathe life into them, to pick something up that it's not too late?
Well, I'm actually going back to music because when I taught music, as you know, because everybody likes music, everybody has their own thing that they like to listen to. You have your own stations, your own jam, as they say, just something that speaks to you, it touches your heart. When I was teaching students and when I still teach them, I try to guide them towards what they are drawn to and what they enjoy and what they like. And so if there's something that you would like to try to do, or if you want to just learn something new, think about what are the things that I like? What do I enjoy? What could I spend all day doing? Is it shopping? Is it going to a concert? It's, just whatever is you. And just don't be afraid. Our pastor today had a message about fear. And there's so much fear in our world today. But you just let it go. Just don't be afraid to try something new. It's a struggle to learn something new, especially at age 60, when someone comes up to something that you're working on and they splash water all over it and you think it's a crisis. It's not a crisis. It's an opportunity to learn and to grow. It's just like learning any other new skill. When you learn to ride a bike, it took a long time, but once you know how much fun is riding a bike? It's tremendous. So if there's something you think you would like to try or to learn or to expand and to do, just go ahead and try it. What have you got to lose, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely take out that fear factor, because we can all say to ourselves, well, it's not going to work, or I'm not going to be successful, or maybe someone's told you you're not good enough, or you're not meant to do that, or you can't. Or I know two main problems why we don't go after something is we don't have enough money, resources, or time. So money and time would be one of the number one reasons that people say they can't do it. But the phrase, if you have a will, there's a way. And I think talking about fear to people, not to have that fear, to go after it. Did you have any fears or trepidation or setbacks or problems that came up when you went to try this new hobby? That maybe you almost didn't do it?
It's very intimidating to know nothing about art and go sit in a class with people who do art for a living and have a degree in art, and this is their livelihood, and to see how much pressure they put themselves under and stress about what it is they're doing. And there was all these new terms and all these new concepts to try to get in my head. I don't know what value is. I don't know what cool, light, warm shadows means at all. I don't even know what cool and warm are. And here I am struggling to try to just keep up with the class. And I just kept doing it. Just don't quit. Just keep doing it. And pretty soon you see progress, and success breeds success. So you'll see these grab onto those successes that you have, those accomplishments, because that will build on your next accomplishment, and it will show you the next step that you need to take in whatever your venture is.
So basically, some really good nuggets you had there is don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. You're going to see progress. You're going to succeed if you keep going. And you said something else that I thought was really good, and I was starting to get a taste of what you went through. You basically were submersed into a whole nother world. You didn't know the lingo. You didn't know anything. So it would be like taking someone and taking them into a completely different culture. That's really what it is. You're learning terminology and lingo and style and moving your body in different ways. And I think there is an appreciation as I'm hearing you say this, because I see your artwork now, that you really started from level zero, ground zero, and built yourself up. And you were saying about professionals, that you're with professionals that did this for a living. And you do this for a living, right? In some way, because you're in several places. Go ahead and say where we can find your artwork and talk about that, because the art show that I went to see of yours last week, I mean, people were buying your artwork, and that's a professional when you get paid to do what you love.
Which is so amazing to me, because I never saw this coming. Right now my artwork is at a show at the Greensburg Library. It will be there until April the 22nd, and you can go see it anytime during library hours. I also have artwork at the Fry Farm Place on Fry Farm Road here in Greensburg. Also at the WOW Outlet, there's a shop called Your Favorite Things. My artwork is in there as well. I also have a Facebook page called Debbie's Watercolor. Everything that I paint, I always post on the Facebook page. So if you like something there, you can contact me. A lot of those things are sold or gifted, but I always have lots of things on hand, and I do commissions. I've had several people commission portraits. I've done pet portraits and lots of things like that.
So speaking of pet portraits, one of my husband's favorite would I call them pictures? I don't know. Art paintings.
Paintings.
Okay, thank you. One of his favorite paintings that you've done is the one of your cat, and he loves it, and he bought a small print of it, and it's in his office. So if you're looking for someone to really, I was going to say, capitalize on the beauty of your little fur baby, Debbie would be the person to do it, to immortalize them into something beautiful that you can hang up, that's going to be really the essence of the animal. And that's what I see in your artwork. You pull out what is reality and you leave it on paper that we can have
thank you.
forever. And
that's nice.
And that's why it's enjoyable. So definitely go check out her artwork in Greensburg right now at the library, Greensburg Hemphill Library. Now, do you have anything at the Greensburg Art Studio or place?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Also the Greensburg
Art Center, is that what
the Greensburg Art Center. Okay. There's a show going on there right now called the Pittsburgh 10. I'm not in the Pittsburgh 10, but I do have other artwork there. Also the Latrobe Art Center, which I totally forgot about. I have probably a half dozen pieces at the Latrobe Art Center, and there's also lots of other artists there. It's quite an extensive gallery over there in Latrobe, and there are many, many beautiful things that you can find there. But more of my cat paintings are in Latrobe.
They are a cat lover. I think on your door it said, what does your door say?
Life is better with the cat.
Life is better with a cat. My husband and I are allergic, but we do
Oh, no.
love to watch them. They're beautiful. Just don't touch them. And yeah, so they're great. So Debbie, in closing, we know that you started picking up painting watercolors in your 60s, and your artwork's a lot of places locally and also online. So we'll make sure that we put the link at the end of this video that people can go to. What else do you have to share that, because you encourage people just to go out and do what inspires them, something that makes them tick and feel alive. What are some other facets of Debbie King that you would like to share with people besides the artwork?
Thanks. I also teach piano. I've been teaching piano since I was 16 years old. And I have a bachelor's of science in music education from Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and with a vocal piano concentration. And so I've taught piano all my life. I still teach piano students. In fact, one of my students is a second generation. His mother I taught when she was young. She started when she was 7 years old, and she went on to major in music. I'm also a wife to Bob King, and we have a wonderful relationship and a good life together. God is good, and he has provided us with so many good things. And I just enjoy my life with him. I enjoy the people that I know, my friends and family. I've made lots of new friends in this art world. I have friends from the music world. I have friends from church. And we're all a family together, and we encourage and support each other.
Now that's another thing, if you don't mind me saying this.
Sure.
Bobby is also something that you found this treasure later in life. Is that correct?
Yes,
maybe
I did.
Maybe encourage that person that, first of all, gave up on their dream, to say it's not too late, but also gave up on love. So when did you meet your sweetheart? May I have you say how old you were?
Funny that you say gave up on love, because that's when I met him.
Yeah.
I was divorced and really struggling with being alone. And I just thought that I had to have a husband or I wasn't going to make it, which isn't true. I didn't have to have a husband because God would care for me no matter what. But I tried very hard to find my companion, using my own efforts and not leaning on the Lord and what he would have for me. And I got so frustrated meeting people, the wrong people, that finally I gave up and I said, I'm done. I don't care. If I never meet anyone, that's fine. And that's when I met him.
So you got to give up on love first so you can find love. No, you have to trust that the Lord is going to give you that person and not try to do it ourselves.
Yes.
We as women especially, we're doers and we want to make things happen. And oh, you got a little cat. That's okay. Yay.
Trying to keep him away from
No,
us.
it's okay. We're allergic. We can admire. Come to mama. Sit on mama. That's the famous one we talked about that my husband loves, a piece that she made of Sammy, and we'll make sure we put it in the B-roll also, so you can think about if you want to reach out to Debbie and again have her immortalize your cat or a dog, and that's just, or horse. That's just because you did a beautiful one of my favorite pieces is a horse piece that you did. But yeah, so Debbie is a prime example of someone that started later in life, and in her art, in her heart, and in love. And her great advice was don't give up. And the thing with Debbie that I want to give a nod to is she never did give up. She really continued her life and just tried different things and found your way along with it. So in closing, what would you like to say to the viewer in any of the gamuts of the things that you do?
Oh. Well, I feel like this is like my third life. You know, my husband and I talk about this a lot of times, like the people we used to be when we were young. It's like somebody else. It's like all that happened to somebody else. My previous marriage was 25 years long, and it's like a different person. So when you're willing to just allow God to come into your heart and into your life and just trust him for the direction that you're going to go, that he can restore and he can renew and he can just give you much more than you ever dreamed possible. It's just amazing what can happen. And I'm living proof. I mean, people that know me from years ago see me now and they are surprised that I'm who I am.
I recently met Debbie at an art show at Twin Lakes Festival that we both had booths. And I don't know her previous life, her previous seasons, but all I know is the moment I met her, she was glowing and she smiles and she's full of life and she's full of joy. So it's just a testament that you are the butterfly. You came out of the cocoon through different things and different stages in life. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing your heart and your art with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work and sending our viewers to check you out.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I'm Faerie Grace, and I just want to encourage you, just like Debbie said, don't give up, keep going, find the things you like to do, find the things you want to do, and don't let a number be the reason why you don't go after it. And in closing, I think she said it best when she said, trust God. So I'm Faerie Grace, and you're amazing.